Welcome to Brand Builders TV. Deep dive topics, tools and resources brought to you by global thought leaders from within the Brand Builders Club. This show gives you access to the strategies that you can use to move forward with ease and flow in every area of your life and business. In today's show, Licia is going to give you another leadership strategy to turn your challenges, past, present and future, into your rocket fuel for today. In episode 5, we're exploring the strategy, Your Good Medicine, Build Something New. So let's turn your challenges into rocket fuel starting now. Learn it, model it and get shit done. Let's go.
Hello, hello. Good day to you. Welcome to Brand Builders TV. I'm Licia Berry, the guide to the frontier inside, and I hope that you can hear me fine and see me fine. I believe that I am live now, having a little technical difficulties this morning. But welcome to episode number 5 of my 6-part series, I'm Not a Victim, I Am Victorious. And I'm wanting to give you a brief overview of what these episodes have been about in this series, I'm Not a Victim, I'm Victorious. It's all about developing a mindset, continuing towards an orientation towards success and fulfillment that will transform any challenge that you may have faced in the past, that you are currently facing now, or that you will face in the future, and make that challenge rocket fuel for your success. This is an orientation of pain being able to be turned into a prize. So accepting, claiming, and even embracing our pain can change it from suffering to blessings and lessons, or blessings, as I like to say. I am Licia Berry again, and I'm known as the guide to the frontier inside. I have a background in education, neuroscience, and positive psychology. And I've been teaching and training leaders since 2003 with my signature holistic system, with a background in, as I said, the sciences and indigenous medicine, which I come by ancestrally. So far, what we have talked about in this series is to really introduce you to this philosophy, this mindset that explains very logically how everything that's happened to you has happened for you and has the potential to be your medicine in the world. Of course, that is an orientation. That means that we have to shift our mindset about it if we don't believe that to begin with, and that we can totally transform that challenge or challenges that we may have experienced and alchemize them, become a warrior that we're really meant to be in order to serve our audience, our customers, our clients, and our students. Sometimes the most challenging situation or experience results in a tremendous gift for the world. So to be the example of someone who has turned their pain into their prize and to be successful in our lives is a huge inspiration to our clients and our customers. And it's a good example to follow, since pain happens to be part of life. It's just the way life is. You know, we have our good times and we have our hard times, and that's the way life is. It's not realistic to think that we can escape pain. So we may as well turn pain into something productive and useful. So I also showed you why being vulnerable in order to allow ourselves to feel the pain and then to reach out and ask for support, that's really the first strategy, that allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and to reach out for support really turns that challenge into rocket fuel. It opens the door. It has the potential for complete transformation to occur by first allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and reaching out for help. I explained in that first episode, that first strategy, that we can accidentally or unconsciously sabotage ourselves by judging ourselves for being vulnerable, that we can perceive that as weakness, and that by doing so, we're actually staying stuck. We are making the choice to stay stuck by judging ourselves, and that self-judgment probably is the fastest way to stay stuck. I mentioned to you that Brene Brown says that when you cannot ask for help without self-judgment, then you are never really offering help without judgment. And that is sobering, isn't it? So it's really that first strategy is to allow ourselves to be vulnerable and not judge ourselves for being such and reach out for help. The next strategy that I shared with you is that now that we've allowed ourselves to be vulnerable, that we actually allow ourselves to receive the support. That may sound a little bit strange. You mean that's not automatic to receive the support? Well, no, it's not. All you have to do is to think about when someone's tried to give you a compliment. The compliment came to you, but did you receive it? Did you allow it in? Did you allow that support or that gift that was given to you into your internal system, your internal landscape, what I call the frontier inside, and let it change you, let it touch you? Because when we do that, that is the beginning of the alchemy. That is the beginning of the transformation. So the receiving is a crucial step. And I introduced you to my practice of receiving, in which I taught you how to recognize whether you're actually receiving the support you're brave enough to ask for. Then in strategy 3, I empowered you to call on your inner alchemist and to turn lead into gold by making the bold choice to turn your life into a crucible and transform the suffering. Whatever challenge you may have faced, I taught you to apply heat. That heat is required to transform something challenging into something useful in your life, like fire transforms anything it touches. Your inner alchemist applies desire, determination, intention, and attention, and these provide the heat to transform suffering. We usually suffer. That word suffer, oof, don't like that word, do we? We usually suffer as a result of feeling powerless to remedy a situation that we're experiencing. And it may be an experience that we're having now or something that we encountered perhaps even as children. But somehow that experience is continuing to have hold and sway over us. And when we feel powerless, that is when we suffer. But when we choose to confront and change the situation, our suffering dissipates. The sheer motivation to improve our life becomes a transforming agent, and suddenly the suffering is so much less and even gone. I see suffering as the very agent by which our alchemical transformation can be initiated and ignited. So we can choose to embrace those lessons that we have learned as a result of the challenge and to embrace the love that we have for ourselves by not judging ourselves and choosing to work on ourselves. But we can release the pain and the powerlessness. So today, in strategy 4, I'm sharing with you this next absolutely imperative strategy to turn your pain into your prize, which is to build something new. Build something new, your good medicine, to move from what we call bad medicine in the indigenous way of speaking about health, that you can turn bad medicine into good medicine. And now that you've chosen to transform pain into something useful in your life, it's time to create something new. Like, what could you do with your hard-won wisdom? What could you do to boost your joy and your success? The way we do it starts with how we think. So just imagine that you're walking around with a pair of gray blinders over your eyes, and everything you see seems dull and gray, right? It's sort of like a lot of these masks that I'm seeing out there now, since we're in the time of COVID and wearing masks. Some people are wearing these masks that come over their whole face. They're transparent, but what if you were to wear one that had gray? It was all colored with gray. You would really think the world was gray, wouldn't you? You would think that everything that you're seeing is of that same color. But if you take that filter off from over your eyes, you suddenly see a world in full color. So let me ask you a question. Did the world change? No, you did. You took the filter off, and then suddenly the full color of the world is available. This is what we do every single day with our beliefs, thoughts, and subconscious filters. We color the outside world with a certain set of hues, but that doesn't mean that the world really is that set of hues. Don't believe everything you think. Don't believe everything that you believe. Let me explain. Your mind is a powerful processor of information and experience, like a computer. In fact, it is the fastest and most complex computer in the world. Did you know that? It's right inside our noggin, right there. The hardware is your brain, the spinal column, and the nervous system. The software is the beliefs that you learned as a child. The thoughts and experiences that you lived through, whether they were positive or negative, doesn't matter. They all formed neural pathways in your brain. Powerful conduits that paved the way for your future thoughts and beliefs to take root. So think of it this way, like the mind of a baby. We come in the world brand new and with no beliefs taught to us so far. We come in fresh and clear and clean, kind of like a natural landscape. You can imagine a beautiful landscape that has never been touched, no marks made by humankind, just what nature intended, just a pure, untouched landscape. Then experiences make their mark in a child's brain by shaping the brain, shaping that landscape. Neural pathways like furrows in rich soil are laid and create the fertile ground for new experiences to be understood, sorted, and categorized, like growing different kinds of flowers in the soil. But sometimes the beliefs that we learn, the software that is installed into our hardware, create conditions for undesirable thoughts and beliefs and filters to grow. Kind of like undesirable plants, what we often call weeds, in the garden of our mind. And just like weeds, if these undesirable thoughts are allowed to proliferate, they can take over. There's a wonderful quote that I found years ago. I've been an organic gardener and a mini farmer for almost all of my life. And gardening really has taught me so much about life, watching nature, watching the plants, watching my relationship to the garden. Has really helped me to understand the brain at a whole different level. And I love the brain. It's one of my favorite topics to teach on and one of my favorite playgrounds to play in the inner frontier. So there's a wonderful quote that I found a long time ago by James Allen, who wrote something called As a Man Thinketh. And his quote says, a man's mind, I'll say a human's mind, may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein and will continue to produce their kind. So in other words, you plant a carrot seed, you're always going to get a carrot, but you don't plant a seed intentionally, and then weeds will take over and make more of themselves, just like weeds do. Another wonderful quote, super easy and short, by a spiritual teacher named Osho. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or weeds. So filters are the result of unattended growth of undesirable beliefs and thoughts, the kind that limit you and your joy, the weeds. These filters are like the gray colored blinders that I mentioned earlier. These filters prevent us from seeing the world accurately and sometimes even make the world seem very sad or very scary. And as a result of these self-reinforcing filters, we can even create challenges in our lives that we don't have to experience. There may have been a challenge in our past, but because of our mind being conditioned to survive that event, we may be actually recreating challenges that we don't even have to live through because we're looking through this filter and perceiving the world through that challenge. So let me ask you this. What do you think happens to your brain when you have a challenge? What do you think happens? Well, I'll tell you what happens. Your brain, and we're going to use my hands here to show you, has two hemispheres, a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere, and right in the middle of the brain is the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum unites the hemispheres of the brain. And in a healthy, relaxed brain, the fissures in our brain, you have seen a picture of a brain, I'm sure, and you can see all the fissures. The fissures in the brain touch each other, and they nestle in and touch each other, and they snuggle up into each other. And this is a way for the brain tissue to connect so that neural pathways can be created all over the brain. The neural pathways actually jump electrically from fissure to fissure to fissure and move throughout the entire brain. And the more of the brain fissures that touch each other, the more whole brain we are, the more access to our entire brain we have. In a relaxed brain, where we're not stressed out in any way, the fissures are nice and plump and they touch each other and it's all touchy-feely, real connected. But when we have trauma or when we have stress of any kind, and that can include the stress of being called on by your teacher when you were in grade school to come up and solve a math problem on the board. How many of you had that stress? I know I did. That was one of those stresses that I did not like very much, was getting called on by my teacher to go up and do a math problem at the board. Do you remember how you behaved, how you felt when you were up there? If you were like me, you got up there and maybe you knew how to do the math problem when you were at your desk, but when you got up there in front of everybody and you had to perform on the spot, the stress made you forget how to do the math problem. That happens to us all the time. Stress actually pulls the fissures of your brain apart from each other. Stress is disintegrating. Relaxation is integrating to the brain. Stress is disintegrating to the brain. So the fissures actually pull apart when we're under stress. And this is because of something that happens in our biology, in our body, called tendon guard reflex. When we're under stress, we revert to a more primitive state in which we move into fight, flight, or freeze. And we actually constrict everything in the body, pulls in tight to bring blood to the vital organs and to tighten the tendons and ligaments so that we can be ready to run from that saber-toothed tiger that we're positive is getting ready to jump on us from behind. That stress activates our primal brain, our subconscious brain, our brainstem and the amygdala in the back of our brain. And as a result, we cannot think properly. We cannot show up and be present and actually see through full, clear eyes. What we're seeing through is a stress filter. Our body believes we're in trauma when we are under stress for a long period of time, or when we have a true traumatic event. Our brain doesn't work anymore. Our brain has moved into survival state. It can't think. But a relaxed brain accesses more of our brain. And so that's the goal, to relax our brain. And as a result of relaxing our brain, we're not seeing through those filters. We can have the opportunity to challenge and change our filters, our thoughts and beliefs that may not be serving us any longer. So how do we relax our brain? Well, let's do a little experiential exercise here. Let me show you a whole brain posture that we used in the education realm for many years. And this is called hookups. It is a brain gym posture. I am certified in brain gym to use brain gym in my practice. And I'm allowed to show you this whole brain posture. So start by crossing your ankles anywhere, any way, left or right over left is fine. And then take your arms and move them out like a zombie. The kids loved this. So out like a zombie, cross over so that your wrists are crossed over. Clasp your hands and then bring your hands up and through and lay them on your chest. Let me show you that again. Zombie, cross the wrist, clasp your hands, and then bring them through and rest them on your chest. So your ankles are crossed and now your arms and hands are in this position. This is called hookups because what's happening right now as you're sitting in this position is that your whole brain is being accessed. Electrical connections are being formed right now as you sit in this position to crisscross left to right, back to front, and top to bottom, the three planes of your brain, the three planes of your whole body for that matter. And so because we're crossing left to right, we're crossing the midline this way, left and right, and we're crossing the midline top to bottom. And we are uniting our body, we are uniting our brain. We are inducing a whole brain state by being in this posture. And this posture is a wonderful one if you like to meditate, if you like to do things to be more present in your mind and your body. This is a wonderful way to meditate, actually, is in this whole brain posture, because in 2 minutes of sitting in this whole brain posture, you're getting the brain equivalent of 20 minutes of meditation. It's fantastic. It's very relaxing. So as you're holding this posture, breathe down. And by that, I mean just breathe in through the top of your head, thinking about all the good in the universe, all the positive and wonderful things that come to you. Breathing in through the top of your head, like you have a blowhole up there at the top of your crown up here. Breathing in and then exhaling down through your body and into the earth, into the planet. And as you're breathing, what's happening right now is you are allowing that relaxation in your brain to move through your entire body. And you may even find that you really get so relaxed that you start yawning. And you might even want to go to sleep. So this is why we do this for 2 minutes instead of 10 or half an hour. And to really be in this whole brain state, which then relaxes your brain enough that you can actually change your belief systems, change those filters and thoughts that are preventing you from really living fully in your life. So try this posture out and let this be a wonderful and exploratory activity for you. Yes, you can now untangle. That's the experiential portion of today's episode. And just think about what you could do if your brain was relaxed. What new things can you create with a relaxed brain? A relaxed brain can be worked on. And those undesirable neural pathways that we may have learned, the early software, that was installed in our child mind, those can be changed. And new neural pathways can be created. It's very simple to do. This means, however, a change in our thinking. And this is where the rubber meets the road, is we then need to create new patterns based on our new thinking. And when we repeatedly choose to create new thought patterns, we are training our brain to accept new, updated beliefs or updated software. And this is how we can have a whole new life. I can attest, this is something that I know deeply and well personally, having had a very victim-like mindset early in my life, and realizing I didn't want to live that way, and beginning the process of really challenging my belief systems, challenging and examining the things that I learned as a child. And as I got older and had my own mind and had custody of myself to think of my mind as my own, then I could really think about a belief, look at it, take it out, be like, do I want to, is this a belief that makes me feel good? Is this a thought that is helping me be more joyful, more successful, more impactful in my life, in my business? Is this helping my relationships, or is this causing drain in my relationships? Where do I need to update my software? And as a result, I learned all of these wonderful ways in my profession to do that very thing. And so I can help you do that if you like. So just think about it. What could you create with a whole new mindset? What could you do with your hard-won wisdom? If you've decided to turn a challenge in your life into something that is useful and productive for you, and maybe even becomes your good medicine to offer the world, just think about what you could do with a whole new mind. You can leverage your powerful choice to change your mind and transform your challenges into success, influence, and positive leadership. So I want you to be sure to sign up for my free gift to you. It's a link for a powerful tool to assess which thoughts and beliefs you might be seeing through as a filter, and therefore limiting your joyful experience of being alive and awake. So don't believe everything you think, you all. There's unconscious filters can be easily lifted from your powerful mind. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you thought of today's episode. Pick up my free gift there, the link to assess which beliefs and thoughts may be limiting your experience. And in the meantime, I wish you every blessing that's available to you. And I will see you next week for my last episode, where we will continue to explore how to create anew by building a whole new life. Lots of love. See you next time.
I hope that you've enjoyed the show today as much as we've enjoyed making it for you. If you've got anything out of this episode, please do tell someone else how they can subscribe to the Brand Builders TV channel at youtube.com/brandbuilderstv. Why not join us at our next Brand Builders Thinkubator, a global mastermind that we run every week to take away the loneliness of being in business on your own. For more information and to book your place, visit light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. That's light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. Until next time, be the ripple that you wish to see in the world, and we'll see you soon.